Alright, what is going on, guys? UFC 322 has just ended, and this is going to be my full card post-fight reactions. Outside of the first fight of the night, I did not watch the first fight of the night, although I did get the winner correct and the method correct via decision. Overall, on the card, I got 8 of the 13 fights correct. But starting out with the first fight of the night that I did watch is Bisenor Susurkayev versus Eric Makhachev. And just as I kind of had expected when I did my prediction video, this fight was competitive. It was about as competitive as I thought it would be. I think I had Susurkayev by KO in the second round, and he got it in the third round. So, going in, first round, I had Eric Makhachev. The judges, which I'm not going to go back and rewatch this fight, but I think 2 of the 3 judges, I have the score pulled up on my phone, 2 of the 3 judges had the first 2 rounds for Susurkayev. I had the first round for Eric Makhachev. He was landing the better shots, the more damaging shots. Clearly. Very obviously, in my opinion. Second round, still somewhat competitive, but Susurkayev landing the better shots in the second round. Even hurt Makhachev. And then third round, I'm like, okay, it's 1-1 going into the third. Pretty obviously, at least in my opinion, I thought. Clearly not to 2 of these judges. Susurkayev finds a finish on Eric Makhachev. Good win. He calls out Bo Nickel, which at this point Nickel hadn't fought yet. But Bo Nickel did win his fight. And that's not a terrible fight or matchup. I'm mildly interested in that fight, I would say. Maybe when I make my fights to make video, maybe I'll make that one, maybe I won't. I don't have to take a look at things. But overall, and then he called out Chimaev as well, which that didn't make any sense at all. But nonetheless, Bo Nickel, solid call out from Susurkayev in a very fun and exciting fight. I don't know if it got fight of the night or not. I have a feeling the Wellmaker fight got fight of the night. Moving up the card, we have Angela Hill versus Fatima Klein. This was definitely the shit break fight. Klein did keep it, moderately exciting, but it was a one-sided beatdown essentially. Hill had very far and few between real moments of any type of success in this fight. It was pretty much all Fatima Klein. She was able to get her takedowns, really do good in the striking, and then in the third round, right at the tail end of it, almost knocks Hill out with a head kick. Hill is I think they were scrambling or something. Hill is getting back up, and it almost looked like it was almost an illegal strike because I thought her knee might have been down at first, but it wasn't. Legal head strike almost puts Hill out, but absolute domination for Fatima Klein. There's really not much else to say about it. Angela Hill probably needs cut. I know she's been in the UFC a long time, but before this fight. Does it have a record on here? It doesn't. I think she was 18-15. Now she's 18-16. Almost has as many losses as she does wins. It is time for Angela Hill to retire. I think she's 41 or 40 years old. So she's getting older. Honestly, a good time for Fatima Klein to get ranked. The women's strawweight division with the co-main event, we got to see what happens with Zhang Weili if she's going to move back down. But the strawweight division's kind of opened up now. And I think Klein, she can at least get to top 5. But we'll see how she performs in her next fight. Moving up the card, very upset at myself. I originally wanted to go with Pat Sabatini. I ended up switching to Chepe Mariscal. I did that with 2 fights on this card. And if I wouldn't have done that, I would have went 10 for 13 on picks. But I didn't. Pat Sabatini gets it done with the grappling. When they were on the feet, he did land a few good shots, but for the vast majority of it, Mariscal was landing the better shots on the feet. But Sabatini would just get him down, keep control of him. Several times throughout the fight, was able to get his back. I think it was the second round though. Mariscal, I think it was an elbow that cut open Sabatini. I think it was halfway through the second round maybe. And then when they were showing him on the stool in between the second and third round, It almost looked like his eye was swollen up completely, or at least I thought it was. Or like, because the cuts were like up in here and up in here. It looked nasty. But I thought there was a chance that the doctors were going to stop the fight just because there's like 3 cuts all super close to his eye. But they didn't stop the fight, which was good. This is a very fun and exciting fight. I think this also has potential to have been fight of the night. I don't know. Nonetheless, solid win for Pat Sabatini. I didn't know this was they had fought before. Apparently Chepe Mariscal won the last one. So I didn't know that. I didn't know this was a rematch, essentially. I just wish I would have stuck with my gut going Pat Sabatini. He's been on a tear recently. He's been on another level with his grappling, his wrestling, his jiu-jitsu. Did decent work on the feet. But nonetheless, Sabatini's probably looking at a ranked opponent next. Because Mariscal, if he was going to get a win in this fight, he'd definitely be looking at a ranked opponent next. Because I think it would have been a 6-fight win streak. I think. But moving on. Headlining the early prelims, we had Kyle Daukaus versus Gerald Meerschaert. Kyle Daukaus might have just retired Gerald Meerschaert. There's not much to say about this one. I mean, Daukaus comes out there, clips Gerald Meerschaert, hurts him, gets him down, and he locks up a Darce. It was in 50 seconds. I mean, I don't think... It said Meerschaert threw 2 strikes. I don't even recall the 2 strikes he threw. I don't know. We'll see if... I mean, you have... he's come back, Daukaus has come back in the UFC after he got kicked out. I think he went on a 3 or 4 fight win streak outside of the UFC. Came back versus Michel Pereira on short notice. Knocks him out in the first round. Goes out there, gets a Darce choke over Gerald Meerschaert in the first round. So there's definitely some exciting fights for Kyle Daukaus. He's kind of, I think he's like 32, 33 years old. So he's entering his prime. And I guess we'll find out if he's going to make a run with his second chance in the UFC. But yeah, not much to say else about this one. It was good while it lasted. This fight, I'm guessing it was fight of the night. I want to refresh my page here. Let's see if it was fight of the night. Because that was probably, again, either the Wellmaker fight or the Sabatini and Chepe Mariscal fight. Apparently my thing's just not going to... My internet's been slow, so we're just not even going to worry about it then. But, opening up the prelims, we have Malcolm Wellmaker versus Ethan Ewing. When I made my predictions video, this fight had not been made yet. Ewing took the fight on, I think 2 days or 3 days notice, something like that. Originally, I had picked Wellmaker. I can't remember the other guy's name. They just took the fight. But I said I wasn't super confident in the pick. Because Wellmaker really hasn't had any deep test or competition yet. Although this was a competitive fight, let's see what the judges scored. I think it was 29-28, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. I think that's Sabatini. Boop, 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 boop. We have 30-27. So 2 judges scored at 29-28. 1 judge scored at all 3 rounds for Ethan Ewing. I had it, let's see. Yeah, so I had it like Marcel Vieira. I scored the first round for Malcolm Wellmaker. First round was competitive. I thought Wellmaker landed the better strikes. Ewing really didn't have much success with the grappling. But I thought first round, clear Wellmaker round. Second and third round, Ewing was mixing the grappling more, using his kicks as well, and really landing good, especially in that third round on Malcolm Wellmaker. At least we know he can go. I would say that was a pretty hard 3 rounds. So he can go. He's got cardio. He can go 3 rounds. And he was trying, even in the third round when he was down, he was losing. He was still trying. He was still moving forward. Just not really finding any success. He was looking for that right hook. Landed it a couple of times, and even stun. I think that's why I gave Wellmaker the first round. He stung Ewing in that first round with the right hook. And I thought, oh, here we go. And I thought, it was going to be the beginning of the end, but it wasn't. Ewing came back, good on him, wins his USA debut on short notice, takes all the hype from Malcolm Wellmaker. And they're both bantamweights. I think Ewing, he looked really good in this fight, and I would love to see him a full training camp against his next opponent. And who knows if they're going to kind of give him somewhat of a high-profile opponent next, or if they're going to kind of just give him some random guy at bantamweight. But excited to see it. Very fun, very good, exciting fight for all 3 rounds. And for Malcolm Widowmaker, I don't think this is the end. You get a lot of these guys that come in, they get a lot of attention, very popular online, and they blow up overnight, it seems like. And then they get a couple fights, fight a couple cans, and then they lose to somebody, which in this case, for Widowmaker, he loses to Ewing, who took the fight on 2 days' notice. I mean, he had fought, I think, a week ago, but still, took the fight on 2 days' notice, and you lost to him. So, maybe that Ewing is just that good, and we don't know about it yet, but we're going to find out. Moving on. Another fight, I went back and forth on this one. I ended up picking Tracy Cortez. Obviously, I was wrong on that one. We have Aaron Blanchfield versus Tracy Cortez. Now, when I was watching this fight, first round, I gave the Cortez. She landed the better strikes. Blanchfield, I don't care that she won. Her striking is absolutely ass. And she was doing that a lot. The whole, she just dresses for it, and she just runs straight at you. She did that several times in this fight. I don't see her ever winning a title. Either one of these ladies. Essentially, what won her this fight, she definitely had better cardio than Cortez. It wasn't the striking as far as, the technical ability of the striking. It was her pressure, her pace, which is what I thought would happen. If Blanchfield was going to win, it was going to be a pressure, pace, and her grappling. First round, she really didn't do any grappling at all, and that's why Cortez was easily able to win that first round, besides the fact that she was landing better strikes on the feet. I think even in the first round, she went for a takedown of her own. Might have briefly got it, but I think Blanchfield got right back up to her feet, reverse position. But in the second round, Blanchfield's busting Cortez up, mixing in the grappling to set up the strikes on the feet. And then towards the end of that second round, in my opinion, I think Cortez just quit. There is the way she got into that position for the rear naked choke. It was super awkward, and it looked like there were so many opportunities where if Cortez would have just done something rather than just let it happen to her, she could have got out of it. I mean, there was 15 seconds left, and she tapped pretty quickly. So, nonetheless, I would say a decent win to get back for Blanchfield, and with the way the flyweight division is right now, I don't want to see Shevchenko move up to bantamweight. I just don't think she should. I think Kayla Harrison, too big, too strong, just like tonight with Zhang Weili. But I don't think Blanchfield is ready for a title fight. I just don't think it. I don't see it at all. I think if anybody's going to beat Shevchenko, it's probably going to be Manon Fior. But I don't know. We'll see how things go. Moving up the card. This is also a really good fight. We have Roman Kopylov versus Gregory Rodriguez. I thought Gregory Rodriguez would get the finish later on in the fight. Let's see. It was all 3 rounds. Yep, 2 of the judges. One judge gave Kopylov the 3rd round, which I didn't, but I guess I wouldn't argue with you. Kopylov, that was probably his best round, was the 3rd round. Essentially what you have in this fight, Rodriguez, especially in that first round, landing good shots on Kopylov, mixing in the grappling, which I kind of thought he would do. He wasn't as successful as I thought he would be. I thought he would be able to get Kopylov down and hold him down and get some ground and pound off. Excuse me. But he wasn't really ever able to do that in this fight. Did Kopylov take him down? I think he did. I think he got him down one or 2 times. I know it says 2 of 2 on takedowns here, but I'm trying to remember the fight. I think he at least got him down twice. I think that's correct. But you could see a clear power difference in this fight when Rodriguez would hit Kopylov versus when Kopylov would hit Rodriguez. I think there was one moment in the 2nd or 3rd round where Kopylov, I think it was the 3rd round, Kopylov landed a really good shot on Rodriguez and stunned him. Then he went right back in there, going towards Kopylov, throwing heat his way, and solid win for Gregory Rodriguez over Roman Kopylov. Very fun, very exciting fight. I mean, he's kind of working his way back to getting another ranked opponent. You know, he had the Jared Cannonier test, failed the Jared Cannonier test. Somebody's trying to break in the door here. Came in there with like 1 round of cardio. He at least had 3 rounds of cardio in this fight, so that was good. He did slow down. Both of them kind of slowed down towards the end. I will say, in my opinion, Kopylov looked a little fresher in that 3rd round than Rodriguez. But yeah, overall, good, fun, exciting fight. And I can't wait to see RoboCop in his next one. Moving up the card, headlining the prelims, we have Bo Nickel versus Rodolfo Vieira. I had Bo Nickel to get it done via decision. And it was looking like that's exactly what's going to happen. Yeah. You had first 2 rounds, clearly Bo Nickel rounds. But especially that 2nd round, absolutely busting up Rodolfo Vieira on the feet. Not too much grappling. He did have some in the first. And I'm trying to think when else he got him down. Can't remember if it was the 2nd or 3rd round. But Bo Nickel, essentially first 2 rounds, landing good strikes on the feet. I don't want to get too far ahead here, but I think he looked improved from his last fight, and even from the fights he had before that. He just looked better in the striking. He did leave himself open. He likes to throw that left a lot. And when he does, I think someone who's better on the feet might be able to catch him with a kick. He seems to dip his head to the right and throw his left hand and drop his arm. So I could see someone like Vieira as a jiu-jitsu specialist, someone who's really good at kickboxing that Nickel can't take down. I think could catch him with a head kick there, but Vieira didn't do that. Vieira got caught with a head kick. It was kind of looking in the 3rd round like it was going to be more of the same. There were a few moments in the 1st and 2nd round where, both stunned or hurt Vieira, and thought, okay, especially in that 1st round, it was like maybe like within the first minute or so, he had Vieira hurt, picked him up, slammed him down, and had him up against the cage. I thought maybe he was going to get the finish or gas himself out trying to get the finish, but he didn't. Had good cardio throughout the fight. But then in that 3rd round, lands a head kick and knocks Vieira out cold, absolutely out cold. Kind of cringy on the mic afterwards, I'm not going to lie. But I would say this is a decent comeback win. I think they did set him up. They gave him an opponent who is not like a complete scrub. He's a decent fighter. Well-ish accredited in the UFC. Kind of like a bag of mixed results a little bit. But I really hope they don't you got 1 win. We're going to throw you up with another ranked middleweight. Because he didn't really earn it. He lost to Rainer de Ritter, and de Ritter just quit in his last fight. Absolutely quit in his last fight. So I want to see Bo Nickel go out there and get at least 1 more win. Maybe against Susurkayev. Maybe not. I don't know. And then, if he gets another win, then maybe he can get a ranked opponent after that. But nonetheless, I guarantee you Bo Nickel probably got a bonus for that finish. Let's see if I can have it. Do they have the bonuses on my phone here? Let's see. They usually tweet out the bonuses on the UFC's Twitter or X or whatever they call it now. They don't have it up yet. Anyway, moving on. Opening up the main card. Man. Before this fight was even started to happen, it was started on Friday when Beneil Dariush missed weight. In my mind, I'm like, oh, I should have picked Benoit Saint-Denis. I just thought Dariush, he's slow on the feet, he's a little sluggish on the feet, and I thought he would start to lose on the feet, then use the grappling and control Benoit Saint-Denis, but Benoit would be good enough to not get submitted and hold out all 3 rounds. And I thought that's kind of how the fight was going to go. That is not at all how the fight went. Comes out, Dariush lands a really good leg kick on Benoit Saint-Denis that takes him off balance and drops him. They kind of get in a clinch position. Dariush lands a good knee on him, and then they start exchanging. I think maybe Dariush landed 1 strike outside of the knee, and then Benoit Saint-Denis is just unloading punches, clips Dariush, puts him out cold. Puts him out. He's done. It's over. 16-second KO from Benoit Saint-Denis. Good win. That goes to show you MMA math doesn't work. Renato Moicano got Benoit Saint-Denis down, out-grappled him, and Benoit couldn't do anything. Absolutely destroyed him. Beneil Dariush. Renato Moicano could not get Beneil Dariush down. He couldn't beat him. Styles make fights. That's just, the proof is in the pudding right there. And Dariush, not known for his chin, has gotten knocked out cold several times in his career. A couple of them somewhat recently against Oliveira and Saryukian. Where does Benoit go from here? Definitely doesn't, no title shot next. I think you can give him, he's fought 2 people. He fought, Huffy, beat him, got a small step up in competition in Beneil Dariush. I think they were ranked not too far apart. Okay, it doesn't show me, of course. I think Dariush was ranked number 9 or 10, and maybe Benoit was ranked like 12 or 11, something like that. But I think next, give him a step up in competition. I need a quick turnaround, though. That's the thing. He took no damage. He got kicked in the leg once. Unless that broke his leg, he took no damage in this fight. You need to get him back in there in like March at the latest. He just needs to get right back in there. And with the way the lightweight division is going and Elliot Taporia, he probably will want to try and move up for a 3rd belt facing Islam at some point. We need to start getting this division moving and seeing who's going to be the clear-cut number 1 contender at lightweight, because there really isn't one right now. So, nonetheless, solid win, good win from Benoit Saint-Denis, and got it in a very good fashion, exciting fashion. Probably a bonus earning fashion. Speaking of bonus earning fashions, we have Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates. This fight kind of played out exactly how I thought it would. You had the first round. They really weren't doing a whole lot. Prates kind of waiting like he normally does against certain people. Not wanting to open himself up too much. Didn't throw a whole lot. Threw a little bit. But Edwards was able to get him down and control him. Prates talking to him, talking shit about grappling and wrestling and why you hold me here and this, that, and the other. Prates couldn't get out. Once Edwards was able to get in a position of control, Prates couldn't get out from it. First round, I think it took a few minutes, maybe like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, for Edwards to get into that position. But once he did, like I said, he secured the position and Prates couldn't get out. First round, easy. Leon Edwards round. Again, there wasn't a whole lot on the feet to score, so it clearly went to Edwards based off of control time. They come out in the second round. Kind of a little bit of the same. Prates does land some decent shots. Edwards landed some as well, but Prates landing the better of the shots in the second round. He's looking a little bit more aggressive. And Leon Edwards hadn't shot a takedown yet in that second round. And Prates clips him. I think it was a straight left. And he's got those long-ass arms. And Leon Edwards was going backwards, and he wasn't able to get back far enough, or quick enough. Prates catches him with that left hand. Puts Leon Edwards out cold. Out absolutely cold. Smiling at the camera. And at first, when it very first happened, because they were shifting camera angles and whatnot, and I didn't clearly see it, I thought, okay, he got dropped. And then I saw him smile. Like, I thought he was smiling at Prates, like, yeah, you caught me there, but it's not over. Because Leon still had his feet up, like he was defending, or going to try and defend Prates coming down into his guard. But then, once they moved the camera angle, I'm like, oh, he's out. He's just kind of like Terrence McKinney, when he got knocked out, and he was like laying up against the cage like this. Like that. That was kind of like this, what this was, but Leon was just laying on his back. So, good win from Carlos Prates over Leon Edwards, and calls for a title shot next. And that kind of goes into the next fight, so I'm just going to kind of combine these together and with the main event. A lot of things happening. I'll just wait and talk about it at the main event. But for this fight, great win from Carlos Prates. Leon Edwards, probably at the somewhat of the last few years of his career. He's kind of out of his prime now. I think he's like 34, 35 years old, something like that. Good fight, though. Good fight. That's all I can say. If Liam could have used his grappling more, I think he could have won, but he didn't. He needed to be relentless with the grappling in order to win, and he didn't. But that is it for this one. Moving up, we have the featured fight. We have Sean Brady versus Michael Morales. I thought Sean Brady was going to go out there, be able to get the takedowns on Michael Morales. Sean Brady did nothing. Outside of land a couple of low kicks on Morales, none of them really even having any significance. I think he landed a few strikes to the head, but this was all Morales moving forward on Sean Brady and just goes out there, bullies him, and finishes him via TKO. Brady had absolutely nothing to offer. Both, in my mind, this fight and the Dariush fight, I'm like, I could see both of these guys getting sparked out. But I thought it was going to be the grappling in both of their cases. The grappling was going to be what was going to win in the fight. And it didn't matter because neither of them could get the grappling going. It was like the reach of Morales was too much for Sean Brady. And he melted him. I mean, it took a few minutes, but he melted him. He had absolutely no resistance, essentially, at all. He also calls for his title shot. There's a lot of guys at welterweight. Welterweight's kind of hot right now. But a lot of guys at welterweight, calling for their title shot, and a lot of fun and exciting fighters in the welterweight division outside of the champion that they have now. But yeah, that's it for this one. And we'll move on to the co-main event, which was a real snoozer, if I'm being honest. We have Valentina Shevchenko versus Zhang Weili, and this is exactly kind of how I thought this fight would play out. Zhang Weili, although she's very good, it was the size of Shevchenko. She was just too big, too strong for Zhang Weili. Anytime they would get in a clinch position, Shevchenko was able to take Weili down. It might take her a couple of times. It took her a minute or so. They were working in the clinch, but eventually, most of the time, it ended up with Weili on her back, Shevchenko on top, and once Shevchenko was able to get on top and get that positional control, Weili could not get back up. She was not able to get back up at all that I can recall. Maybe one time. No, I don't think she did. I don't think she was ever able to get back up once she was taken down. But even on the feet, there were multiple times in this fight where Weili would rush in and Shevchenko would sting her to the body with a knee. And then I think it was the fourth round. I think it was the fourth or fifth round, landing lots of body kicks on Weili, hurting her badly. But Shevchenko never really went for it. And it's, as many title defenses she has, and as good as she is at flyweight, probably the best, most definitely the best flyweight, women's flyweight fighter ever to exist. You can definitely tell, she's getting older. She's almost 38 years old. Definitely towards the tail end of her career. I can't see her fighting past 40 years old and still winning. You can see how she's kind of regressed in her fighting, where she doesn't move a lot. She kind of just stands there and bounces. She was just waiting for Weili to charge at her, and then she was countering, and then clinching up or throwing a knee or going for a takedown off of Weili charging in. And she kind of did the same thing in the Manon Fior fight. Just waiting for her to come to her, not really being aggressive, not really going for it, just being reactionary. Now, in the Grasso fight, the third one, where she won, she went after her. She got those takedowns. She wanted her belt back, and now she has it back, and she doesn't want to lose it again. So she's being very conservative in these fights, just kind of going for counter shots, not taking any risks really at all whatsoever. But hey, she won the fight. Good for her. I don't want to see her move up. If I'm being honest, unless her opponent makes the fight interesting, I don't think we're going to get an interesting Valentina Shevchenko fight. Didn't really come close to a finish on the ground at all. Didn't come close to a submission. I think if she pressed Weili with those body shots, I think she could have finished her with strikes. But she didn't push the pace. The fifth round was the most competitive round. Still went to Shevchenko, though, even though that was the round where Weili did the most damage. But she was really getting hurt to that body, and you could tell. I think Weili needs to go back down to strawweight She said she's going to take time, rest, and figure out her next move from there. But she's just too small for flyweight. She needs to go back down to strawweight. And I think they should give her an immediate title shot at 115 pounds. She vacated her belt. She never lost it. She went up, tried to become double champion. She did not succeed. They should give her an immediate title shot if that's what she wants to do. If she doesn't want to stay at flyweight, which she doesn't need to. She's too small. Her frame is not built for flyweight. It's for strawweight. She's perfect. But yeah, and I think she'd win. I think she could go back, get her belt back from Dern, and keep beating everybody up at strawweight for at least another year, maybe 2, because she's getting a little bit older herself. Moving up the card, the main event, got this one wrong. Essentially, how I thought the co-main event was going to... I thought, how Shevchenko, she's too big, she's too strong for Zhang Weili. I thought this was going to be how the main event was going to go. The main event, I'm not going to lie, the main and co-main event kind of killed this card. Like, they were both not very exciting fights at all. You pretty much, there was more striking action in the co-main event than there was in the main event. Essentially, in the main event, and I have absolutely no clue why, JDM didn't throw anything. I genuinely believe he was too scared. He was too scared to throw anything. He didn't want to get taken down. He was afraid he was going to get submitted. He was afraid he was going to lose. I don't know what the reason was. The commentary team was acting like maybe he got hurt, with a leg kick or something. They always say that. Anytime anybody lands 4 leg kicks in a row, they're like, oh, his leg's so compromised. Oh, he can't do anything, his leg. It's like, I think his leg's probably fine. But, nonetheless, every round was the same. Boring. They would be on the feet for a little bit. JDM really wouldn't throw much. I think first round he landed a decent shot or 2, and then the 4th round, I think he had a flurry where they were kind of in a clinch, and he landed a couple solid strikes, and it was kind of like a brawl, and then Islam shot a takedown, got him down. And every time Islam was able to get JDM down, JDM had absolutely nothing to offer. He could not get up. He scrambled a couple of times, but couldn't get up to his feet. He defended all the submissions that Islam attempted, even though he wasn't accredited for any submission attempts. He was always fishing for the darce. Never really got close to any submissions. Trying to set up a head and arm choke once or twice. But yeah, this fight was super boring. Was not fun at all to watch. And I don't know who to blame. Who do you blame? JDM, and his corner was telling him this. You need to do something. You need to throw something. You got to finish him. The whole time. Just scared to throw anything. He just went... I genuinely believe he was too scared of Islam to throw anything, to do anything, and he just froze up in the moment. That's probably what happened if I had to guess. And then for Islam, I would have liked to have seen him do more ground and pound on JDM, but I think maybe the reason he didn't... He did some. I think the reason he didn't do more is he didn't want to give him that distance to try and scramble out and get out. Because if he's raising up to throw an elbow, that's going to give Jack a little bit of space. And when he gets in that space, then he can create a scramble to try to escape. I mean, he could also create a scramble and get submitted, like Moicano. But yeah, that was the story of this fight. Islam, he's double champion now. The welterweight division is on fire right now. It's really booming right now. I don't know. I want to look at the welterweight rankings. Let's pull these up real quick. I want to discuss them because the welterweight division, you have so many people that are kind of right in there for a title shot. So next weekend, this upcoming weekend, we have Bilal Muhammad versus Ian Gary. They're fighting. We have Shavkat, who, with his win over Ian Gary, Dana White said that the winner of that fight was supposed to fight for the belt, but Shavkat ended up getting injured in that fight, and I can't tell if he's able to be in a training camp within the next few months or not. Can he fight at least summer of next year? Because that's probably when Islam's going to fight. He wants to fight at the White House, which would be in June or July. I think July. So if he's really going to wait 6 months, then some of these guys at welterweight are going to have to fight each other to really see who's going to be a number one contender. But you have the winner of Gary and Bilal. So there's one person who's kind of a contender, if you will. You have Shavkat. You have Morales, who just got a win over Sean Brady. Number 2 ranked Sean Brady. So Michael Morales should be the number 2 ranked contender. Then you have Carlos Prates, just got a win over Leon Edwards. So there's 4 people right there. And then kind of the 5th one would be Usman. He does not deserve a title shot. I understand he defended the belt multiple times. He was a long reigning champion, but he lost it. He was on a 3-fight losing streak. 3-fight losing streak. Gets a win over Buckley. Okay, and if Buckley got the win over Usman, he would have been in line for a title shot. But you need to get Usman one more win. Let him fight one of these up and coming guys. I don't know exactly. I'm not going to play matchmaker right now, but we kind of have 4 or 5 guys here. And then you got Bonfin, who's coming up. He still needs a step up in competition before he, probably 2 more fights away from a title shot. But you have 4 or 5 people at welterweight. Currently, if I had to give someone a title shot, if I snapped my finger and we're giving somebody a title shot, I'm giving it to Michael Morales. Reason being, I understand Prates just beat Leon Edwards, former champion, but Brady just beat Leon Edwards as well, and he finished him just like Prates did. It wasn't he didn't knock him out, he submitted him, but he just beat Leon, and then Morales just beat Brady. Brady was ranked higher. I think Brady definitely has the better wins than Prates. So I would give it to Morales. I think he would probably be next in line for a welterweight title shot. If I had to pick out of everybody right now, I think it would be Morales. So, I don't know. Who do you guys think would be next in line for a title shot versus Islam Makhachev? I think Morales could give him some problems, but who knows? Morales has never been... He's been in a couple decisions in the UFC. Super competitive fight with... what's his name? The Australian guy. Jake Matthews. Nonetheless, UFC 322 was pretty solid overall. The main and co-main event were kind of stunk it up for me. The first 3 fights on the main card, very good, very fun, very exciting fights. Enjoyed all of them. Let me know in the comment section down below what did you think of the main event and who is next for Islam Makhachev at 170 pounds. Let me know down below. Make sure to drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.